This is a featured article. Click here for more information. Page semi-protected. Barack Obama. From Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. Jump to navigation. Jump to search. Barack and Obama redirect here. For other uses, see Barack, disambiguation, Obama, disambiguation, and Barack Obama, disambiguation. Barack Obama. Obama standing with his arms folded and smiling. Official portrait, 2012. 44th President of the United States. In office. January 20, 2009, January 20, 2017. Vice President Joe Biden. Preceded by George W. Bush. Succeeded by Donald Trump. United States Senator. From Illinois. In office. January 3, 2005, November 16, 2008. Preceded by Peter Fitzgerald. Succeeded by Roland Burris. Member of the Illinois Senate. From the 13th District. In office. January 8, 1997, November 4, 2004. Preceded by Alice Palmer. Succeeded by Kwame Raoul. Personal details. Born Barack Hussein Obama II. August 4, 1961, age 59. Honolulu, Hawaii, U.S. Political Party Democratic. Spouses Michelle Robinson. M. 1992. Children. Malia Sasha. Parents. Barack Obama Sr. and Dunham. Relatives Family of Barack Obama. Residence Kala'arama, Washington, D.C. Education Pune School. Alma Mater. Columbia University, B.A. Harvard University, J.D. Occupation. Politician, lawyer, author. Awards list of honors and awards. Signature cursive, signature in ink. Website. Official website. Obama Foundation. White House Archives. President Barack Obama, 2012 portrait crop.jpg. This article is part of a series about Barack Obama. Political positions, electoral history. Early life and career, family, public image, honors. Pre-presidency. Illinois State Senator 2004 DNC keynote address, U.S. Senator from Illinois. Sponsored bills. President of the United States. Presidency. Timeline. Policies. Economy, energy, foreign policy. Europe, East Asia, Middle East, South Asia, Obama doctrine, foreign trips, pardons, social space. Appointments. Cabinet judges. First term. Campaign. 2008 general election, primaries, transition, first inauguration, first 100 days, Recovery Act, Russia Nuclear Treaty, Affordable Care Act, Dodd-Frank, Iraq withdrawal, killing of Osama bin Laden, Libya intervention, Afghanistan withdrawal, Benghazi attack. Timeline. 09, 10, 11, 12. Second term. Re-election campaign. 2012 general election reactions. Second inauguration, anti-ISIL campaign. Iraq, Syria, Iran deal, Cuban thaw sanctions against Russia, Selma 50th anniversary speech, Obergefell LV. Hodges Paris Agreement, Kunduz Hospital airstrike, failed nomination of Merrick Garland. Timeline. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Post-presidency. Planned Presidential Library, Obama Foundation, One America appeal. Dreams from My Father, The Audacity of Hope, A Promised Land, Nobel Peace Prize. Barack Hussein Obama II, /BRK Hussein Obama / About this sound, listen. Barack Hussein Obama, M.1, born August 4, 1961, is an American politician and attorney who served as the 44th President of the United States from 2009 to 2017. A member of the Democratic Party, Obama was the first African American President of the United States. He previously served as a U.S. Senator from Illinois from 2005 to 2008 and as an Illinois State Senator from 1997 to 2004. Obama was born in Honolulu, Hawaii. After graduating from Columbia University in 1983, he worked as a community organizer in Chicago. In 1988, he enrolled in Harvard Law School, where he was the first black president of the Harvard Law Review. After graduating, he became a civil rights attorney and an academic, teaching constitutional law at the University of Chicago Law School from 1992 to 2004. Turning to elective politics, he represented the 13th District in the Illinois Senate from 1997 until 2004, when he ran for the U.S. Senate. Obama received national attention in 2004 with his March Senate primary win, his well-received July Democratic National Convention keynote address, and his landslide November election to the Senate. In 2008, he was nominated by the Democratic Party for president a year after beginning his campaign, and after a close primary campaign against Hillary Clinton. Obama was elected over Republican nominee John McCain in the general election and was inaugurated alongside his running mate, Joe Biden, on January 20, 2009. 9 months later, he was named the 2009 Nobel Peace Prize laureate. Obama signed many landmark bills into law during his first 2 years in office. The main reforms that were passed include the Affordable Care Act, commonly referred to as ACA or Obamacare, although without a public health insurance option, the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act, and the Don't Ask, Don't Tell Repeal Act of 2010. The American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009 and Tax Relief, Unemployment Insurance Reauthorization, and Job Creation Act of 2010 served as economic stimuli amidst the Great Recession. After a lengthy debate over the national debt limit, he signed the Budget Control and the American Taxpayer Relief Acts. In foreign policy, he increased U.S. troop levels in Afghanistan, reduced nuclear weapons with the United States-Russia New START Treaty, and ended military involvement in the Iraq War. He ordered military involvement in Libya for the implementation of the UN Security Council Resolution 1973, contributing to the overthrow of Muammar Gaddafi. He also ordered the military operation that resulted in the killing of Osama bin Laden. After winning re-election by defeating Republican opponent Mitt Romney, Obama was sworn in for a second term in 2013. During this term, he promoted inclusion for LGBT Americans. His administration filed briefs that urged the Supreme Court to strike down same-sex marriage bans as unconstitutional, United States v. Windsor and Obergefell v. Hodges. Same-sex marriage was legalized nationwide in 2015 after the court ruled so in Obergefell. He advocated for gun control in response to the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, indicating support for a ban on assault weapons, and issued wide-ranging executive actions concerning global warming and immigration. In foreign policy, he ordered successful military interventions in Iraq and Syria in response to gains made by ISIL after the 2011 withdrawal from Iraq, continued the process of ending U.S. combat operations in Afghanistan in 2016, promoted discussions that led to the 2015 Paris Agreement on global climate change, initiated sanctions against Russia following the invasion in Ukraine and again after interference in the 2016 U.S. elections, brokered the JCPOA nuclear deal with Iran, and normalized U.S. relations with Cuba. Obama nominated 3 justices to the Supreme Court. Sonia Sotomayor and Elena Kagan were confirmed as justices, while Merrick Garland faced partisan obstruction from the Republican-led Senate led by Mitch McConnell, which never held hearings or a vote on the nomination. Obama left office in January 2017 and continues to reside in Washington, D.C. 2-3. During Obama's terms in office, the United States' reputation abroad, as well as the American economy, significantly improved. 4. Obama's presidency has generally been regarded favorably, and evaluations of his presidency among historians, political scientists, and the general public frequently place him among the upper tier of American presidents. Contents: 1. Early life and career. 1.1 Education. 1.2 Family and personal life. 1.2.1 Religious views. 1.3 Law career. 1.3.1 Community organizer and Harvard Law School. 1.3.2 University of Chicago Law School and civil rights attorney. 1.4 Legislative career. 1.4.1 Illinois Senate, 1997 to 2004. 1.4.2 2004 U.S. Senate campaign. 1.4.3 U.S. Senate, 2005 to 2008. 2 presidential campaigns. 2.1 2008. 2.2 2012. 3 Presidency, 2009 to 2017. 3.1 First 100 days. 3.2 Domestic policy. 3.2.1 LGBT rights. 3.2.2 White House advisory and oversight groups. 3.2.3 Economic policy. 3.2.4 Environmental policy. 3.2.5 Healthcare reform. 3.2.6 Energy policy. 3.2.7 Gun control. 3.2.8 2010 midterm elections. 3.2.9 Cybersecurity and Internet policy. March 2, 2010 Government mass surveillance. 3.3 Foreign policy. 3.3.1 War in Iraq. 3.3.2 War in Afghanistan. 3.3.3 Israel. 3.3.4 Libya. 3.3.5 Syrian civil war. 3.3.6 Death of Osama bin Laden. 3.3.7 Iran nuclear talks. 3.3.8 Relations with Cuba. 3.3.9 Africa. March 3, 2010 Hiroshima speech. March 3, 2011 Russia. 3.4 Cultural and political image. 4 Post-presidency, 2017-present. 5 Legacy. 5.1 Presidential library. 6 Bibliography. 6.1 Books. 6.2 Audio books. 6.3 Articles. 7 See also. 7.1 Politics. 7.2 Other. 7.3 Lists. 8 References. 8.1 Works cited. 9 Further reading. 10 External links. 10.1 Official. 10.2 Other. Early life and career. Main article, Early life and career of Barack Obama. Stanley Armour Dunham, and Dunham, Ma Yasso et Oro, and Barack Obama, L to R, mid-1970s in Honolulu. Obama was born on August 4, 1961, 5, at Kapiolani Medical Center for Women and Children in Honolulu, Hawaii. 678, he is the only president born outside the contiguous 48 states. 9, he was born to an American mother of European descent and an African father. His mother, Ann Dunham, 1942 to 1995, was born in Wichita, Kansas. She was mostly of English descent. 10, with some German, Irish, Scottish, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, Swiss, and Welsh ancestry. 16, in July 2012, Ancestry.com found a strong likelihood that Dunham was descended from John Punch, an enslaved African man who lived in the colony of Virginia during the 17th century. 1718, Obama's father, Barack Obama Sr., 1936 to 1982, 19, was a married 2021-22, Lwokinyan from Nyango-Makojalo. 2023, Obama's parents met in 1960 in a Russian language class at the University of Hawaii at Manoa, where his father was a foreign student on a scholarship. 24-25, the couple married in Wailuku, Hawaii, on February 2, 1961, 6 months before Obama was born. 2627. In late August 1961, a few weeks after he was born, Barack and his mother moved to the University of Washington in Seattle, where they lived for a year. During that time, the elder Obama completed his undergraduate degree in economics in Hawaii, graduating in June 1962. He left to attend graduate school on a scholarship at Harvard University, where he earned an MA in economics. Obama's parents divorced in March 1964. 28. Obama Sr. returned to Kenya in 1964, where he married for a third time and worked for the Kenyan government as the senior economic analyst in the Ministry of Finance. 29. He visited his son in Hawaii only once, at Christmas 1971. 30. Before he was killed in an automobile accident in 1982, when Obama was 21 years old. 31. Recalling his early childhood, Obama said, that my father looked nothing like the people around me, that he was black as pitch, my mother white as milk, barely registered in my mind. 25. He described his struggles as a young adult to reconcile social perceptions of his multiracial heritage. 32. In 1963, Dunham met Lolo Soetoro at the University of Hawaii. He was an Indonesian East-West Center graduate student in geography. The couple married on Molokai on March 15, 1965. 33. After 2 one-year extensions of his J-1 visa, Lolo returned to Indonesia in 1966. His wife and stepson followed 16 months later in 1967. The family initially lived in the Mendalam neighborhood in the Tibet sub-district of South Jakarta. From 1970, they lived in a wealthier neighborhood in the Meng sub-district of Central Jakarta. 34. Education. Barack Obama's school record in St. Francis of Assisi Catholic Elementary School. Obama was enlisted as Barry Soetoro in the school, number 1, and was wrongly acknowledged as a Muslim, number 4. 35. When he was 6 years old, Obama and his mother moved to Indonesia to join his stepfather. From age 6 to 10, he attended local Indonesian language schools, Sekolah Dasar Katolik Santo Franciscus Assisi, St. Francis of Assisi Catholic Elementary School, for 2 years, and Sekolah Dasar Negeri Men 01, State Elementary School Men 01, for 1.5 years, supplemented by English language Calvert School homeschooling by his mother. 36-37. As a result of his 4 years in Jakarta, he was able to speak Indonesian fluently as a child. 38-39-40. During his time in Indonesia, Obama's stepfather taught him to be resilient and gave him a pretty hard-headed assessment of how the world works. 41. In 1971, Obama returned to Honolulu to live with his maternal grandparents, Madeline and Stanley Dunham. He attended Pune School, a private college preparatory school, with the aid of a scholarship from 5th grade until he graduated from high school in 1979. 42. In his youth, Obama went by the nickname Barry. 43. Obama lived with his mother and half-sister, Maya Soetoro, in Hawaii for 3 years from 1972 to 1975 while his mother was a graduate student in anthropology at the University of Hawaii. 44. Obama chose to stay in Hawaii with his grandparents for high school at Pune when his mother and half-sister returned to Indonesia in 1975, so his mother could begin anthropology field work. 45. His mother spent most of the next 2 decades in Indonesia, divorcing Lolo in 1980 and earning a PhD degree in 1992, before dying in 1995 in Hawaii following unsuccessful treatment for ovarian and uterine cancer. 46. Obama later reflected on his years in Honolulu and wrote, "The opportunity that Hawaii offered, to experience a variety of cultures in a climate of mutual respect, became an integral part of my worldview, and a basis for the values that I hold most dear." 47. Obama has also written and talked about using alcohol, marijuana, and cocaine during his teenage years to push questions of who I was out of my mind. 48. Obama was also a member of the Chum Gang, a self-named group of friends who spent time together and occasionally smoked marijuana. 49. After graduating from high school in 1979, Obama moved to Los Angeles to attend Occidental College on a full scholarship. In February 1981, Obama made his first public speech, calling for Occidental to participate in the disinvestment from South Africa in response to that nation's policy of apartheid. 51. In mid-1981, Obama traveled to Indonesia to visit his mother and half-sister Maya, and visited the families of college friends in Pakistan and India for 3 weeks. 51. Later in 1981, he transferred to Columbia University in New York City as a junior, where he majored in political science with a specialty in international relations. 52, and in English literature. 53, and lived off campus on West 109th Street. 54, he graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree in 1983 and a 3.7 GPA. After graduating, Obama worked for about a year at the Business International Corporation, where he was a financial researcher and writer. 55-56, then as a project coordinator for the New York Public Interest Research Group on the City College of New York campus for 3 months in 1985. 57, 58, 59. Family and personal life. Main article, Family of Barack Obama. In a 2006 interview, Obama highlighted the diversity of his extended family. "It's like a little mini United Nations," he said. "I've got relatives who look like Bernie Mac, and I've got relatives who look like Margaret Thatcher." 60. Obama has a half-sister with whom he was raised, Maya Soetoro Ng, and 7 other half-siblings from his Kenyan father's family, 6 of them living. 61. Obama's mother was survived by her Kansas-born mother, Madeline Dunham, 62, until her death on November 2, 2008, 63, 2 days before his election to the presidency. Obama also has roots in Ireland. He met with his Irish cousins in Moneygall in May 2011. 64. In Dreams from My Father, Obama ties his mother's family history to possible Native American ancestors and distant relatives of Jefferson Davis, President of the Confederate States of America during the American Civil War. He also shares distant ancestors in common with George W. Bush and Dick Cheney, among others. 65, 66, 67. Obama lived with anthropologist Sheila Mishi Jaeger while he was a community organizer in Chicago in the 1980s. 68. He proposed to her twice, but both Jaeger and her parents turned him down. 68-69. The relationship was not made public until May 2017, several months after his presidency had ended. 69. Obama poses in the Green Room of the White House with wife Michelle and daughters Sasha and Malia, 2009. In June 1989, Obama met Michelle Robinson when he was employed as a summer associate at the Chicago law firm of Sidley Austin. 70. Robinson was assigned for 3 months as Obama's advisor at the firm, and she joined him at several group social functions but declined his initial requests to date. 71. They began dating later that summer, became engaged in 1991, and were married on October 3, 1992. 72. After suffering a miscarriage, Michelle underwent in vitro fertilization to conceive their children. 73. The couple's first daughter, Malia Ann, was born in 1998, 74, followed by a second daughter, Natasha, Sasha, in 2001. 75. The Obama daughters attended the University of Chicago Laboratory Schools. When they moved to Washington, D.C., in January 2009, the girls started at the Sidwell Friends School. 76. The Obamas had 2 Portuguese water dogs. The first, a male named Bo, was a gift from Senator Ted Kennedy. 77. In 2013, Bo was joined by Sunny, a female. 78. Bo died of cancer on May 8, 2021. 79. Obama about to take a shot while three other players look at him. One of those players attempts to block Obama. Obama takes a left-handed jump shot during a pickup game on the White House basketball court, 2009. Obama is a supporter of the Chicago White Sox, and he threw out the first pitch at the 2005 ALCS when he was still a senator. 80. In 2009, he threw out the ceremonial first pitch at the All-Star Game while wearing a White Sox jacket. 81. He is also primarily a Chicago Bears football fan in the NFL, but in his childhood and adolescence was a fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and rooted for them ahead of their victory in Super Bowl's LA 12 days after he took office as president. 82. In 2011, Obama invited the 1985 Chicago Bears to the White House. The team had not visited the White House after their Super Bowl win in 1986 due to the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster. 83. He plays basketball, a sport he participated in as a member of his high school's varsity team. 84, and he is left-handed. 85. In 2005, the Obama family applied the proceeds of a book deal and moved from a Hyde Park, Chicago condominium to a $1.6 million house, equivalent to $2.1 million in 2019, in neighboring Kenwood, Chicago. 86. The purchase of an adjacent lot, and sale of part of it to Obama by the wife of developer, campaign donor and friend Tony Rezko, attracted media attention because of Rezko's subsequent indictment and conviction on political corruption charges that were unrelated to Obama. 87. In December 2007, Money magazine estimated Obama's net worth at $1.3 million, equivalent to $1.6 million in 2019. 88. Their 2009 tax return showed a household income of $5.5 million, up from about $4.2 million in 2007 and $1.6 million in 2005, mostly from sales of his books. 89.90. On his 2010 income of $1.7 million, he gave 14% to nonprofit organizations, including $131,000 to Fisher House Foundation, a charity assisting wounded veterans' families, allowing them to reside near where the veteran is receiving medical treatments. 91.92. Per his 2012 financial disclosure, Obama may be worth as much as $10 million. 93. In early 2010, Michelle spoke about her husband's smoking habit and said Barack had quit smoking. 94.95. On his 55th birthday, August 4, 2016, Obama penned an essay in Glamour, in which he described how his daughters and the presidency have made him a feminist. 96, 97, 98. Religious views. Obama is a Protestant Christian whose religious views developed in his adult life. 99. He wrote in The Audacity of Hope that he was not raised in a religious household. He described his mother, raised by non-religious parents, as being detached from religion, yet in many ways the most spiritually awakened person I have ever known, and a lonely witness for secular humanism. He described his father as a confirmed atheist by the time his parents met, and his stepfather as a man who saw religion as not particularly useful. Obama explained how, through working with black churches as a community organizer while in his 20s, he came to understand the power of the African American religious tradition to spur social change. 100. The Obamas worship at African Methodist Episcopal Church in Washington, D.C., January 2013. In January 2008, Obama told Christianity Today, "I am a Christian, and I am a devout Christian. I believe in the redemptive death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. I believe that faith gives me a path to be cleansed of sin and have eternal life." 101. On September 27, 2010, Obama released a statement commenting on his religious views, saying, "I'm a Christian by choice. My family didn't, frankly, they weren't folks who went to church every week. And my mother was one of the most spiritual people I knew, but she didn't raise me in the church. So I came to my Christian faith later in life, and it was because the precepts of Jesus Christ spoke to me in terms of the kind of life that I would want to lead, being my brothers and sisters' keeper, treating others as they would treat me. 102-103. Obama met Trinity United Church of Christ pastor Jeremiah Wright in October 1987 and became a member of Trinity in 1992. 104. During Obama's first presidential campaign in May 2008, he resigned from Trinity after some of Wright's statements were criticized. 105. Since moving to Washington, D.C., in 2009, the Obama family has attended several Protestant churches, including Shiloh Baptist Church and St. John's Episcopal Church, as well as Evergreen Chapel at Camp David, but the members of the family do not attend church on a regular basis. 106, 107, 108. In 2016 he said that he gets inspiration from a few items that remind him of all the different people I've met along the way. He said that I carry these around all the time. I'm not that superstitious, so it's not like I think I necessarily have to have them on me at all times. The items, a whole bowl full, include rosary beads given to him by Pope Francis, a figurine of the Hindu deity Hanuman, a Coptic cross from Ethiopia, a small Buddha statue given by a monk, and a silver poker chip that used to be the lucky charm of a biker in Iowa. 109-110. Law career. Community organizer and Harvard Law School. 2 years after graduating from Columbia, Obama moved from New York to Chicago when he was hired as director of the Developing Communities Project, a church-based community organization originally comprising 8 Catholic parishes in Roseland, West Pullman, and Riverdale on Chicago's South Side. He worked there as a community organizer from June 1985 to May 1988. 58-111, he helped set up a job training program, a college preparatory tutoring program, and a tenants' rights organization in Altgeld Gardens. 112, Obama also worked as a consultant and instructor for the Gamaliel Foundation, a community organizing institute. 113, in mid-1988, he traveled for the first time in Europe for 3 weeks and then for 5 weeks in Kenya, where he met many of his paternal relatives for the first time. 114-115. External video. Video icon Derek Bell threatens to leave Harvard, April 24, 1990, 11:34, Boston TV Digital Archive. 116. Student Barack Obama introduces Professor Derek Bell starting at 6:25. Despite being offered a full scholarship to Northwestern University School of Law, Obama enrolled at Harvard Law School in the fall of 1988, living in nearby Somerville, Massachusetts. 117. He was selected as an editor of the Harvard Law Review at the end of his first year. 118. President of the Journal in his second year. 112-119, and research assistant to the constitutional scholar Lawrence Tribe while at Harvard for 2 years. 120. During his summers, he returned to Chicago, where he worked as a summer associate at the law firms of Sidley Austin in 1989 and Hopkins and Sutter in 1990. 121. After graduating with a JD degree magna cum laude 122, from Harvard in 1991, he returned to Chicago. 118. Obama's election as the first black president of the Harvard Law Review gained national media attention. 112-119, and led to a publishing contract and advance for a book about race relations. 123, which evolved into a personal memoir. The manuscript was published in mid-1995 as Dreams from My Father. 123. University of Chicago Law School and civil rights attorney. In 1991, Obama accepted a 2-year position as visiting law and government fellow at the University of Chicago Law School to work on his first book. 123-124. He then taught constitutional law at the University of Chicago Law School for 12 years, first as a lecturer from 1992 to 1996, and then as a senior lecturer from 1996 to 2004. 125. From April to October 1992, Obama directed Illinois' Project Vote, a voter registration campaign with 10 staffers and 700 volunteer registrars. It achieved its goal of registering 150,000 of 400,000 unregistered African Americans in the state, leading Crain's Chicago business to name Obama to its 1993 list of 40 under 40 powers to be. 126. He joined Davis, Minor, Barnhill, and Galland, a 13-attorney law firm specializing in civil rights litigation and neighborhood economic development, where he was an associate for 3 years from 1993 to 1996, then of counsel from 1996 to 2004. In 1994, he was listed as one of the lawyers in Bikes Robertson v. Citibank Fed. Sav. Bank, 94 C 4094, and Ill. 127. This class action lawsuit was filed in 1994 with Selma Bikes Robertson as lead plaintiff and alleged that Citibank Federal Savings Bank had engaged in practices forbidden under the Equal Credit Opportunity Act and the Fair Housing Act. 128. The case was settled out of court. 129. Final judgment was issued on May 13, 1998, with Citibank Federal Savings Bank agreeing to pay attorney fees. 130. His law license became inactive in 2007. 131-132. From 1994 to 2002, Obama served on the boards of directors of the Woods Fund of Chicago, which in 1985 had been the first foundation to fund the Developing Communities Project, and of the Joyce Foundation. 58. He served on the board of directors of the Chicago Annenberg Challenge from 1995 to 2002, as founding president and chairman of the board of directors from 1995 to 1999. 58. Legislative career. Illinois Senate, 1997 to 2004. Main article, Illinois Senate career of Barack Obama. State Senator Obama and others celebrate the naming of a street in Chicago after Shore Bank co-founder Milton Davis in 1998. Obama was elected to the Illinois Senate in 1996, succeeding Democratic State Senator Alice Palmer from Illinois' 13th District, which, at that time, spanned Chicago's South Side neighborhoods from Hyde Park Kenwood south to South Shore and west to Chicago Lawn. 133. Once elected, Obama gained bipartisan support for legislation that reformed ethics and health care laws. 134-135. He sponsored a law that increased tax credits for low-income workers, negotiated welfare reform, and promoted increased subsidies for child care. 136. In 2001, as co-chairman of the Bipartisan Joint Committee on Administrative Rules, Obama supported Republican Governor Ryan's payday loan regulations and predatory mortgage lending regulations aimed at averting home foreclosures. 137-138. He was re-elected to the Illinois Senate in 1998, defeating Republican Yes Yehuda in the general election, and was re-elected again in 2002. 139-140. In 2000, he lost a Democratic primary race for Illinois' 1st congressional district in the United States House of Representatives to four-term incumbent Bobby Rush by a margin of 2-1. 141. In January 2003, Obama became chairman of the Illinois Senate's Health and Human Services Committee when Democrats, after a decade in the minority, regained a majority. 142. He sponsored and led unanimous, bipartisan passage of legislation to monitor racial profiling by requiring police to record the race of drivers they detained, and legislation making Illinois the first state to mandate videotaping of homicide interrogations. 136-143-144-145. During his 2004 general election campaign for the U.S. Senate, Police representatives credited Obama for his active engagement with police organizations in enacting death penalty reforms. 146. Obama resigned from the Illinois Senate in November 2004 following his election to the U.S. Senate. 147. 2004 U.S. Senate campaign. Main article, 2004 United States Senate election in Illinois. Results of the 2004 U.S. Senate race in Illinois, Obama won the counties in blue. In May 2002, Obama commissioned a poll to assess his prospects in a 2004 U.S. Senate race. He created a campaign committee, began raising funds, and lined up political media consultant David Axelrod by August 2002. Obama formally announced his candidacy in January 2003. 148. Obama was an early opponent of the George W. Bush administration's 2003 invasion of Iraq. 149. On October 2, 2002, the day President Bush and Congress agreed on the joint resolution authorizing the Iraq War. 150. Obama addressed the first high-profile Chicago anti-Iraq war rally. 151, and spoke out against the war. 152. He addressed another anti-war rally in March 2003 and told the crowd it's not too late to stop the war. 153. Decisions by Republican incumbent Peter Fitzgerald and his Democratic predecessor Carol Moseley Braun to not participate in the election resulted in wide-open Democratic and Republican primary contests involving 15 candidates. 154. In the March 2004 primary election, Obama won in an unexpected landslide, which overnight made him a rising star within the National Democratic Party, started speculation about a presidential future, and led to the reissue of his memoir, Dreams from My Father. 155. In July 2004, Obama delivered the keynote address at the 2004 Democratic National Convention. 156. Seen by 9 million viewers. His speech was well received and elevated his status within the Democratic Party. 157. Obama's expected opponent in the general election, Republican primary winner Jack Ryan, withdrew from the race in June 2004. 158. 6 weeks later, Alan Keyes accepted the Republican nomination to replace Ryan. 159. In the November 2004 general election, Obama won with 70% of the vote, the largest margin of victory for a Senate candidate in Illinois history. 160. He took 92 of the state's 102 counties, including several where Democrats traditionally do not do well. U.S. Senate, 2005 to 2008. Main article, United States Senate Career of Barack Obama. Official portrait of Obama as a member of the United States Senate. Obama was sworn in as a senator on January 3, 2005, 161, becoming the only Senate member of the Congressional Black Caucus. 162. CQ Weekly characterized him as a loyal Democrat based on analysis of all Senate votes from 2005 to 2007. Obama announced on November 13, 2008, that he would resign his Senate seat on November 16, 2008, before the start of the lame duck session, to focus on his transition period for the presidency. 163. Legislation. See also, List of bills sponsored by Barack Obama in the United States Senate. Obama co-sponsored the Secure America and Orderly Immigration Act. 164. He introduced 2 initiatives that bore his name, Lugar Obama, which expanded the non-Lugar cooperative threat reduction concept to conventional weapons. 165, and the Federal Funding Accountability and Transparency Act of 2006, which authorized the establishment of USAspending.gov, a web search engine on federal spending. 166. On June 3, 2008, Senator Obama, along with Senators Tom Carper, Tom Coburn, and John McCain, introduced follow-up legislation, strengthening transparency and accountability in Federal Spending Act of 2008. 167. Obama-sponsored legislation that would have required nuclear plant owners to notify state and local authorities of radioactive leaks, but the bill failed to pass in the full Senate after being heavily modified in committee. 168. Regarding tort reform, Obama voted for the Class Action Fairness Act of 2005 and the FISA Amendments Act of 2008, which grants immunity from civil liability to telecommunications companies complicit with NSA warrantless wiretapping operations. 169. Gray-haired man and Obama stand, wearing casual polo shirts. Obama wears sunglasses and holds something slung over his right shoulder. Obama and U.S. Senator Richard Lugar, RN, visit a Russian facility for dismantling mobile missiles, August 2005. 170. In December 2006, President Bush signed into law the Democratic Republic of the Congo Relief, Security, and Democracy Promotion Act, marking the first federal legislation to be enacted with Obama as its primary sponsor. 171. 172. In January 2007, Obama and Senator Feingold introduced a corporate jet provision to the Honest Leadership and Open Government Act, which was signed into law in September 2007. 173. 174. Obama also introduced two unsuccessful bills, the Deceptive Practices and Voter Intimidation Prevention Act to criminalize deceptive practices in federal elections, 175. 176, and the Iraq War De-Escalation Act of 2007. 177. Later in 2007, Obama sponsored an amendment to the Defense Authorization Act to add safeguards for personality disorder military discharges. 178. This amendment passed the full Senate in the spring of 2008. 179. He sponsored the Iran Sanctions Enabling Act supporting divestment of state pension funds from Iran's oil and gas industry, which was never enacted but later incorporated in the Comprehensive Iran Sanctions, Accountability, and Divestment Act of 2010. 180, and co-sponsored legislation to reduce risks of nuclear terrorism. 181. Obama also sponsored a Senate amendment to the state children's health insurance program, providing 1 year of job protection for family members caring for soldiers with combat-related injuries. 182. Committees. Obama speaks with a soldier stationed in Iraq, 2006. Obama held assignments on the Senate Committees for Foreign Relations, Environment and Public Works and Veterans Affairs through December 2006. 183. In January 2007, he left the Environment and Public Works Committee and took additional assignments with Health, Education, Labor and Pensions and Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs. 184. He also became chairman of the Senate's Subcommittee on European Affairs. 185. As a member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Obama made official trips to Eastern Europe, the Middle East, Central Asia, and Africa. He met with Mahmoud Abbas before Abbas became president of the Palestinian National Authority, and gave a speech at the University of Nairobi in which he condemned corruption within the Kenyan government. 186. Presidential campaigns. 2008. Main articles. 2008 United States presidential election, Barack Obama 2008 presidential primary campaign, and Barack Obama 2008 presidential campaign. Photograph. Obama on stage with his wife and daughters just before announcing his presidential candidacy in Springfield, Illinois, February 10, 2007. Electoral map of the 2008 U.S. presidential election. 2008 electoral vote results. Obama won 365 to 173. On February 10, 2007, Obama announced his candidacy for President of the United States in front of the old state Capitol building in Springfield, Illinois. 187. 188. The choice of the announcement site was viewed as symbolic because it was also where Abraham Lincoln delivered his historic House Divided speech in 1858. 187-189, Obama emphasized issues of rapidly ending the Iraq War, increasing energy independence, and reforming the healthcare system. 190, in a campaign that projected themes of hope and change. 191. Numerous candidates entered the Democratic Party presidential primaries. The field narrowed to a duel between Obama and Senator Hillary Clinton after early contests, with the race remaining close throughout the primary process but with Obama gaining a steady lead in pledged delegates due to better long-range planning, superior fundraising, dominant organizing in caucus states, and better exploitation of delegate allocation rules. 192. On June 7, 2008, Clinton ended her campaign and endorsed Obama. 193. Photograph. Outgoing President George W. Bush meets with President-elect Obama in the Oval Office on November 10, 2008. On August 23, 2008, Obama announced his selection of Delaware Senator Joe Biden as his vice presidential running mate. 194. Obama selected Biden from a field speculated to include former Indiana Governor and Senator Evan Bayh and Virginia Governor Tim Kaine. 194. At the Democratic National Convention in Denver, Colorado, Hillary Clinton called for her supporters to endorse Obama, and she and Bill Clinton gave convention speeches in his support. 195. Obama delivered his acceptance speech, not at the center where the Democratic National Convention was held, but at Invesco Field at Mile High to a crowd of about 84,000. The speech was viewed by over 3 million people worldwide. 196, 197, 198. During both the primary process and the general election, Obama's campaign set numerous fundraising records, particularly in the quantity of small donations. 199. On June 19, 2008, Obama became the first major party presidential candidate to turn down public financing in the general election since the system was created in 1976. 200. John McCain was nominated as the Republican candidate, and he selected Sarah Palin as his running mate. The two candidates engaged in 3 presidential debates in September and October 2008. 201. On November 4, Obama won the presidency with 365 electoral votes to 173 received by McCain. 202. Obama won 52.9% of the popular vote to McCain's 45.7%. 203. He became the first African American to be elected president. 204. Obama delivered his victory speech before hundreds of thousands of supporters in Chicago's Grant Park. 205. 2012. Main articles: 2012 United States presidential election and Barack Obama 2012 presidential campaign. Electoral map of the 2012 U.S. presidential election. 2012 electoral vote results. Obama won 332 to 206. Photograph of Barack Obama and Mitt Romney. Obama greets former Governor Mitt Romney in the Oval Office on November 29, 2012, in their first meeting since Obama's re-election victory over Romney. On April 4, 2011, Obama announced his re-election campaign for 2012 in a video titled "It Begins With Us" that he posted on his website and filed election papers with the Federal Election Commission. 206, 207, 208. As the incumbent president, he ran virtually unopposed in the Democratic Party presidential primaries. 209. And on April 3, 2012, Obama had secured the 2,778 convention delegates needed to win the Democratic nomination. 210. At the Democratic National Convention in Charlotte, North Carolina, Obama and Joe Biden were formally nominated by former President Bill Clinton as the Democratic Party candidates for president and vice president in the general election. Their main opponents were Republicans Mitt Romney, the former governor of Massachusetts, and Representative Paul Ryan of Wisconsin. 211. On November 6, 2012, Obama won 332 electoral votes, exceeding the 270 required for him to be re-elected as president. 212, 213, 214, with 51.1% of the popular vote. 215, Obama became the first Democratic president since Franklin D. Roosevelt to win the majority of the popular vote twice. 216, 217, Obama addressed supporters and volunteers at Chicago's McCormick Place after his re-election and said, "Tonight you voted for action, not politics as usual. You elected us to focus on your jobs, not ours. And in the coming weeks and months, I am looking forward to reaching out and working with leaders of both parties." 218, 219. Presidency, 2009 to 2017. Main article, Presidency of Barack Obama. For a chronological guide to this subject, see Timeline of the Barack Obama Presidency. See also, Confirmations of Barack Obama's Cabinet and List of international presidential trips made by Barack Obama. First 100 days. Main article, First 100 days of Barack Obama's presidency. Photograph. Obama takes the oath of office administered by Chief Justice John G. Roberts, Jr. at the Capitol, January 20, 2009. Photograph. Official Presidential Portrait, 2009. The inauguration of Barack Obama as the 44th president took place on January 20, 2009. In his first few days in office, Obama issued executive orders and presidential memoranda directing the U.S. military to develop plans to withdraw troops from Iraq. 220. He ordered the closing of the Guantanamo Bay detention camp. 221. But Congress prevented the closure by refusing to appropriate the required funds. 222, 223, 224, and preventing moving any Guantanamo detainee into the U.S. or to other countries. 225, Obama reduced the secrecy given to presidential records. 226, he also revoked President George W. Bush's restoration of President Ronald Reagan's Mexico City policy prohibiting federal aid to international family planning organizations that perform or provide counseling about abortion. 227. Domestic policy. See also, Social policy of the Barack Obama administration. The first bill signed into law by Obama was the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act of 2009, relaxing the statute of limitations for equal pay lawsuits. 228, 5 days later, he signed the reauthorization of the State Children's Health Insurance Program, SIP, to cover an additional 4 million uninsured children. 229, in March 2009, Obama reversed a Bush-era policy that had limited funding of embryonic stem cell research and pledged to develop strict guidelines on the research. 230. Obama delivers a speech at joint session of Congress with Vice President Joe Biden and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on February 24, 2009. Obama appointed 2 women to serve on the Supreme Court in the first 2 years of his presidency. He nominated Sonia Sotomayor on May 26, 2009 to replace retiring Associate Justice David Souter. She was confirmed on August 6, 2009, 231, becoming the first Supreme Court justice of Hispanic descent. 232, Obama nominated Elena Kagan on May 10, 2010 to replace retiring Associate Justice John Paul Stevens. She was confirmed on August 5, 2010, bringing the number of women sitting simultaneously on the court to 3 justices for the first time in American history. 233. On March 30, 2010, Obama signed the Health Care and Education Reconciliation Act, a reconciliation bill that ended the process of the federal government giving subsidies to private banks to give out federally insured loans, increased the Pell Grant Scholarship Award, and made changes to the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. 234-235. Obama meets with the Cabinet of the United States, November 23, 2009. In a major space policy speech in April 2010, Obama announced a planned change in direction at NASA, the U.S. space agency. He ended plans for a return of human spaceflight to the Moon and development of the Ares I rocket, Ares V rocket and Constellation program, in favor of funding Earth science projects, a new rocket type, and research and development for an eventual crewed mission to Mars, and ongoing missions to the International Space Station. 236. President Obama's 2011 State of the Union address focused on themes of education and innovation, stressing the importance of innovation economics to make the United States more competitive globally. He spoke of a 5-year freeze in domestic spending, eliminating tax breaks for oil companies and reversing tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans, banning congressional earmarks, and reducing health care costs. He promised the United States would have 1 million electric vehicles on the road by 2015 and set a goal for 80% reliance on clean electricity by 2035. 237-238. LGBT rights. On October 8, 2009, Obama signed the Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr. Hate Crimes Prevention Act, a measure that expanded the 1969 United States federal hate crime law to include crimes motivated by a victim's actual or perceived gender, sexual orientation, gender identity, or disability. 239. On October 30, 2009, Obama lifted the ban on travel to the United States by those infected with HIV, which was celebrated by Immigration Equality. 240. On December 22, 2010, Obama signed the Don't Ask, Don't Tell Repeal Act of 2010, which fulfilled a key promise made in the 2008 presidential campaign 241-242, to end the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy of 1993 that had prevented gay and lesbian people from serving openly in the United States Armed Forces. 243. In 2016, the Pentagon also ended the policy that barred transgender people from serving openly in the military. 244. As a candidate for the Illinois State Senate in 1996, Obama had said he favored legalizing same-sex marriage. 245. By the time of his Senate run in 2004, he said he supported civil unions and domestic partnerships for same-sex partners but opposed same-sex marriages. 246. In 2008, he reaffirmed this position by stating, "I believe marriage is between a man and a woman. I am not in favor of gay marriage." 247. On May 9, 2012, shortly after the official launch of his campaign for re-election as president, Obama said his views had evolved, and he publicly affirmed his personal support for the legalization of same-sex marriage, becoming the first sitting U.S. president to do so. 248-249. The White House was illuminated in rainbow colors on the evening of the Supreme Court same-sex marriage ruling, June 26, 2015. During his second inaugural address on January 21, 2013, 219, Obama became the first U.S. president in office to call for full equality for gay Americans. "Our journey is not complete until our gay brothers and sisters are treated like anyone else under the law, for if we are truly created equal, then surely the love we commit to one another must be equal as well." This was the first time that a president mentioned gay rights or the word gay in an inaugural address. 250-251. In 2013, the Obama administration filed briefs that urged the Supreme Court to rule in favor of same-sex couples in the cases of Hollingsworth v. Ferry, regarding same-sex marriage 252, and United States v. Windsor, regarding the Defense of Marriage Act. 253, then, following the Supreme Court's 2015 decision in Obergefell v. Hodges, ruling same-sex marriage to be a fundamental right, Obama asserted that, "This decision affirms what millions of Americans already believe in their hearts, When all Americans are treated as equal, we are all more free. 254. On July 30, 2015, the White House Office of National AIDS Policy revised its strategy for addressing the disease, which included widespread testing and linkage to healthcare, which was celebrated by the Human Rights Campaign. 255. White House Advisory and Oversight Groups. On March 11, 2009, Obama created the White House Council on Women and Girls, which formed part of the Office of Intergovernmental Affairs, having been established by Executive Order 13506 with a broad mandate to advise him on issues relating to the welfare of American women and girls. 256. The council was chaired by Senior Advisor to the President Valerie Jarrett. 257. Obama also established the White House Task Force to protect students from sexual assault through a government memorandum on January 22, 2014, with a broad mandate to advise him on issues relating to sexual assault on college and university campuses throughout the United States. 257, 258, 259. The co-chairs of the task force were Vice President Joe Biden and Jarrett. 258. The task force was a development out of the White House Council on Women and Girls and Office of the Vice President of the United States, and prior to that the 1994 Violence Against Women Act, first drafted by Biden. 260. Economic Policy. Main article: Economic Policy of the Barack Obama Administration. File :20090124 weekly address.org Play Media. Obama presents his first weekly address as President of the United States on January 24, 2009, discussing the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009. On February 17, 2009, Obama signed the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009, a $787 billion economic stimulus package aimed at helping the economy recover from the deepening worldwide recession. 261. The act includes increased federal spending for health care, infrastructure, education, various tax breaks and incentives, and direct assistance to individuals. 262. Deficit and debt increases, 2001 to 2016. In March 2009, Obama's Treasury Secretary, Timothy Geithner, took further steps to manage the financial crisis, including introducing the Public-Private Investment Program for Legacy Assets, which contains provisions for buying up to $2 trillion in depreciated real estate assets. 263. Obama intervened in the troubled automotive industry. 264. In March 2009, renewing loans for General Motors and Chrysler to continue operations while reorganizing. Over the following months, the White House set terms for both firms' bankruptcies, including the sale of Chrysler to Italian automaker Fiat. 265, and a reorganization of GM, giving Th.